switching gears. So, how do you guys feel about the controversy with the Michael Bay verse versus 86? Because there's a lot of people who prefer Michael Bay's Transformers over
No, I get
the
it.
original.
I get it. But remember
Yeah.
also, like, everybody's going to have their own G1. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, there are a lot of people who were actually born in different times and everything. For some people, Beast Wars was actually someone's G1. You know what I mean? And back then, first seeing the movie and everything, getting out of the theater was actually kind of surreal to me. Because then you could actually see kind of like where almost everything in the parking lot could actually transform into something and everything like that. So it was kind of like, whoa, it was actually messing with my brain for a moment, you know? But I really still think that Michael Bay, and I know that I'm actually going to get some flack for this and everything like that, but I still think that in the world of the visual arts and everything like that, in the world of like actually getting science fiction out there, I really think that he was actually kind of instrumental with kind of like putting more Transformers on the map, you know? And I kind of felt like having a live action movie was the one thing that was actually stopping Transformers from being like more of a Star Wars or Star Trek or Star whatever it may be and everything like that, was that they actually needed something that actually had like a, and although Transformers actually had substance, it needed like a little bit more oomph to like actually like make it like another, like the new science fiction craze, you know? And even though it was a science fiction craze before, it actually became even more so when you actually include more fans. You know, you actually have like the older fans and younger fans. Right, exactly. It was actually kind of like both could actually feed each other, whether or not it was actually hated or not. The thought was is that, you know, it got it actually more out there in the forefront, you know? So that's kind of, I kind of felt, yeah.
The thing is, it could have been something, because the first Michael Bay, phenomenal. And I was, you know, standing ovation. I was like, yes, this is what's going to make people realize that, you know, these toys are amazing. The show is amazing, and it might introduce people to, you know, the old school. But when 2 and 3 started coming out and the intelligence of the people and the robots was starting to, you know, dwindle, I was like, no, now you're destroying the essence of what Transformers is all about. It's not about a
the
giant robot scrotum.
To dwindle.
Yes.
I caught that.
Yeah. So like that, after that, like I was actually kind of like upset with the fact that they actually did what they actually did and everything, as far as like killing our female Autobots right from the get-go, not including Dinobots and everything like that, not having a more cohesive
and
story.
Jazz.
Shaking. Yeah. By the way, don't get me started on Jazz. I was actually like reaching up for him, like, no.
Wait, look at Rodimus' face. He was like, yeah, he got fucked up. Rodimus is like, he got Anyway.
And then Sentinel Prime.
Like that,
I totally did not see that coming in the third one. And to me, again, the third one, it was just a ripoff of, you know, G1 episodes combined into one big giant movie, which to me was an insult, because it's like, how dare you try and, you know, because you didn't come up with an idea for the third movie, take, you know, essence of, you know, something from the show and claim it as yours. And so
three different shows they combined together and everything in that one, and I was just like, "You're kidding me," you know? Yeah, I know. Rodimus actually has a lot to say about this. You know what I mean? The one thing that I actually kind of thought was actually kind of crazy was that with Sentinel Prime, it took me. I really hated that character so much for killing off Ironhide, for like being as like the character that he actually was. It took me a long time, years, to actually get over to finally buy a figure, of Sentinel Prime and everything. And that's how well written. I thought that's how well written that character was, and how well done Leonard Nimoy actually added his voice to that character. And like, you know, like everything about that character just made me just like really just like you know what I mean? I hated that guy so much. And then like for him, I thought that like the best writing was actually the best writing of all the Bay movies was probably done for him and probably like him alone and everything, you know. But that's my 2 cents on him. I finally got a Sentinel Prime. I still hate him.
You mean that's my therapy session? Knockoff Betrayal 2.0.
I would have loved to see him being up there. I would have loved to see him like colored as Alpha Trion. Like that would have actually been great, you know.
Are you going to be begging for a Quintessa figure soon enough?
No. I would have loved to see her being Botanica or something like that, but like that's what I thought she was gonna be, you know?
Well,
But like,
they didn't give us the 5 faces of darkness, and then they hinted at something, a different type of being at the beginning of the 4th movie. You know, like the creators were supposed to look like, but then all of a sudden that they look like, you know, here Quintessa is a metallic looking thing, and the Knights, and just I would say all of all the 4 sequels, they're all bloated. Really, I would say all of the movies really are very bloated with a lot of nonsense. That because they needed to make humans the stars. You know, to me, Transformers are supposed to be the stars. You know, and even more so, like when you watch Dark of the Moon, which
really.
When you think of Dark of the Moon,
I was going to talk about something else, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. But when you watch Dark of the Moon, how many times did they switch back to the humans climbing up the building, and then they're trying to get into position, and they're aiming, and they're talking, and they're having conversation, and then all of a sudden, look, the Autobots over there, they got captured, and then they're back to the humans again,
and it's back to the humans saving them with their little itty bitty bullets.
Yes,
you know,
the humans. Like, why are the humans the heroes? Why are the humans the stars? Like, the Autobots are supposed to be the stars. The Transformers are supposed to be the stars. Why aren't the Decepticons given personality? The one Decepticon that lived throughout all 5 movies, right, that I recently did a retrospective on, you know, was the only one who had any form of personality, and he was even just that was barely. You know, then you had Megatron, got killed, right? Megatron gets killed, and he has personality, but and I don't even get me started on the robot designs. You know, I never really
like the robot designs. Actually, I kind of thought the industrial look was actually pretty cool. Actually, you know,
like when I think of Transformers, like you're just looking at Dragstrip. I mean, yeah, he's a yellow vehicle, and yes, there are vehicle parts, but I can recognize him.
Right. I get where you're coming from, right?
There's not the panels for the car are there on the sides. Where are the panels of the car? It's especially the 4th and 5th movie. The robots do not look like they can transform into those vehicles.
No, but I think that's actually the cool thing about that, though. You know, I think that it's actually cool that they were able to like take like the car and kind of like systematically change everything about, and like so everything actually becomes a part of the transformation. Like say the front hood of something splits up into 90 different pieces and becomes involved with the car and everything. You know, like I thought that was actually kind of slick.
You know, because I mean, I think Aaron Archer himself said like, we have a problem with that. We have physics. Where are we going to make it?
Yeah, but you're talking about science fiction, though. You know what I mean? Like, there's this fantasy that actually goes into that and everything. Like,
I got it. Like, I know what it is.
Right.
It's mass shifting.
Yeah, it's not even that. Not even because the mass shifting is actually like them expanding or shrinking in size. I'm talking about like legitimately put the parts in a place.
Yeah.
Like Jazz is a great robot design, right?
Right.
Jazz is one of those you could say is a great robot design.
You see his hood and G1. I got you, Prime. You see his hood right there. Okay, I can see the hood. I can see the tires on his ankles.
Yep.
Okay, that obviously goes.
Right.
Thank you. That goes into the Porsche.
There's the chest on him. There is and here even more so. Look at that robot, and look at that robot in comparison to the G1 bot. Do they look similar?
I'm just saying.
Do they look similar?
Well, aren't they 2 different make vehicles?
They're 2 different vehicles, but don't they look similar? The chest, the head design, that. Why couldn't all of the Transformers in the live action films do exactly that? Incorporate.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
That's where Bumblebee comes in. The Bumblebee movie corrects that mistake in a way because because I mean at least it brings back what it should have been and should have fixed all that.
Exactly.
But wait a second, but Average Girl, you're talking about a mistake, or was it just because they just wanted to have their own take on Transformers? Like it's not right or wrong or anything like that. It's just their own take on it. You know what I mean? And like everybody actually has a different way of looking at things, right?
When you think of the X-Men, Do you think of the
Right.
yellow spandex and blue spandex, or do you think of the leather?
I think of all of
Yellow.
them, actually. Like, for me,
Yellow.
Wolverine actually
Yeah.
should
Brown.
actually have, like, the... See, look at this. Wolverine, I actually grew up with him at first. My first seeing him was actually in the brown uniform and everything, right?
Right.
But I really like that yellow and blue. That yellow and blue says everything to me in Wolverine and everything. You know, kind of like makes me... What? Yeah, of course. Like, it kind of makes me harken back to, like, the time where he was
Still
actually
looks
fighting
like
Hulk and
Wolverine.
everything. Just looks great, you know. But I didn't have an issue with the leather, because they actually kind of like felt like they needed to, like, say, make it more real, you know. So, like, to them, that's how they actually made it real. That's how they kind of like
It's funny
made
that the later
Wolverine.
X-Men movies started changing that, and when you go by
Right.
First Class, and they started changing the costumes to start looking closer to
To
the
the
comic
comic
book
books.
counterparts,
Right.
which I
Mhm.
like. I would have preferred if because if you're gonna make a movie about a character, like, look at Spider-Man. In every iteration of the Spider-Man movies, he looks like Spider-Man. You
Right.
look at him and you go, "There's Spider-Man. He looks like Spider-Man."
Right, but they
You
can't
didn't have
really
to
do
ask
so
if that was
much about.
Spider-Man.
What's that?
You didn't have to ask if that was Spider-Man. You knew
Right.
that was Spider-Man.
Right.
Right.
Whereas
but then
when I'm
Spider-Man's
looking at a
actually
green
kind of-
robot with buck teeth and he's saying these weird slurs, am I going to say that's Skids? I'm looking at a robot on roller skates and he's silver and he turns into a Corvette. I mean, mind you, I understand the cars, but because
I love that design, though.
But is
I
that
freaking
sideswipe?
love that side. No, it's not, but it's still yet it's their own take, and I still think
That's
that
not
it's
my
actually.
issue. My issue is that you're bringing in a character and telling me that's the character, and I'm going, well, where is he? Where is the character? I don't see the character.
If they made
I see a different
made
robot.
that design,
the robot looks cool, but it doesn't look like
if they
the
made
character.
that design, if they made that design red, would you have accepted it?
I think I would have been more accepting of it, and I think if the robot head was shaped like Sideswipe.
But to add on, Steve Jack, if a Bay, fan was to come up
Yeah,
to me
maybe.
and tell me about why is it that people hate us fans so, I would honestly tell him that look, it's not that we don't hate Michael Bay for what he's done. We thank him for introducing the world of Transformers. However, and I respect your
I'm going
opinion.
to say Steven Spielberg.
Well, Steven was an executive.
Because at least Steven Spielberg had enough executive knowledge to at least try to make it more magical in that respect.
Right.
And I also give it and the other thing is that I love the fact that there are new fans. Love the fact that there are new fans. I don't have an issue if fans like Michael Bay's Transformers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have
Right.
I don't think older fans like myself have a hatred for
You have a
younger
problem
fans.
with you have the same problem I do. You have the problem with the formula. You're happy they did it. The formula is what bothers you. That's what
Correct.
bothers me.
Yeah. I don't like the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think if the movie was the designs of the robots looked closer to their Generation 1 counterparts, at least enough that they were recognizable, that I can go, oh, that is Ironhide. Even with the new vehicle, even if they decided to change the transformation slightly, even if they decided to try to make more, to add more car parts and stuff like that, like that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to bring realism to the robot. But if the robot looked like the character, felt like the character, and acted like so for the most part, the first movie, the Autobots act like the characters. The Autobots do. The second movie and on, none of the Autobots really feel like they match their counterparts. You know what I mean? And you can go, oh, that's just a newer interpretation. And I go, I want the character brought to screen. Like, if I see Captain America brought on screen, I know that Captain America is going to act like Captain America.
Yeah.
What did you feel
I
about?
really hated the fact that.
Go ahead.
I hated the fact that they actually brought movie Hound into it, and then he wasn't Hound. I kind of felt like he felt more like Bulkhead to me.
Yes, yeah, he was movie Bulkhead. Right, he was movie Bulkhead basically.
Yeah, Hound is not aggressive at all. If anything, he's built for reconnaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
why is
that
he called
doesn't make any
Hound?
more sense to me.
And that's the other thing. To me, it's not just a movie thing. Transformers, whenever a Transformer has a name, their name means something. You know, in Generation 1, whenever if you read their bios, their name means something. Smokescreen, for example. Smokescreen is a diversionary tactician, not an orange crane.
Don't get me started on that.
Okay.
But that's
see, that's what. You want to know something? Back then, when they actually made Smokescreen and Orange Crane, I said this to myself. I said, they're just one episode away from making Action Masters and destroying the whole entire franchise all over again. You know?
Right?
Right.
And here you are with the
Masters.
same argument. And here I am presenting you the same exact argument that I have with the names of characters, the designs of characters from Armada, and now apply that to Michael Bay. To the Michael Bay films. Same reason.
No, I get where you're coming from there.
Do I hate Armada? I don't care for it, but I know lots of fans are fans of it, and there are a lot of good episodes in Armada. There's a lot of good action sequences in Michael Bay's films. The music is awesome. They brought Peter Cullen in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff is great. You know, whenever they do callbacks and stuff like that to the original Transformers and stuff like that, like in the Bay films. Yeah. And I love the fact that there are new fans, and some fans really like the robot designs. They go, "Oh, I know you're a G1 guy, but I really love movie Ironhide." Great. Doesn't feel like Ironhide to me, but but it's just I wish that he looked more like Ironhide to me. And I loved the fact that he was a badass character, like he should have been. That his personality was great, but
he
didn't look like Ironhide.
They actually made another toy of that where they actually colored him red. And I was just like, oh, look, it's Ironhide.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But see, I would have loved if, they made it to where we the people, like Twitter, let's face it, Twitter's poison. Mm-hmm. So the minute someone says something, there's always going to be someone that's going to, downsize them and tell them that, they're insignificant and all that stuff, where it's like agree to disagree.
I don't think Bay fans are insignificant. I do not think they're insignificant.
Not at all.
I don't think that I don't consider people inconsiderate. You know what I mean? I don't consider people. What's the word I'm looking for?
Insignificant.
Insignificant, right? I don't consider them that. Like, why would I? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I want more Transformers fans. That was the whole point. In 2006 and leading into July of 2007, I was one of the biggest, like, oh my God, they're making a movie of Transformers. Oh, you're one of those stupid Transformers fans? Like what are you, 12? You know what I mean?
I've actually had somebody to actually say something like that 12? To me too. I get it.
Like that was like when I was in 2006, I was working at a sales place. What are you, 12? We played with Transformers when we were kids. You're still into that stuff? Yes.
Right.
Good point.
Yes,
right.
I'm a super nerd.
Good point.
So we were trying to convince the mass populace that Transformers were cool. Now I have to go, I'm a Transformers fan. Oh, you're into those masturbation jokes and you're into that potty humor and
and then I would say yes I am.
and I have to sometimes, for me, I have to go, no, actually I'm a fan of the old stuff. Back in the day, there used to be this old show, an old toy line, stuff like that. That's all based on. That's what I'm a fan of. The films, not so much, and I understand if fans are, right? Like, I don't hate the younger generation of fans. I don't like the fact that there is a toxicity more from the younger fan and the younger generation of a recency bias that has been aimed towards the older stuff. And that is because of how different a lot of these characters have been changed over the years, and had they remained consistent, more fans would have been more defensive of consistency, in a character. And I believe in consistency of characters because, Spider-Man has been consistent. Iron Man has been, Iron Man, and you can probably say from the comic book to the movies has been different, but his look, he looks like Iron Man. But
I think he actually captured go ahead. I'm sorry, but I kept on thinking like Iron Man actually really captured the real essence of Iron Man. Like every time I keep on thinking about like what is his name? His name is actually right on
Robert Downey Jr.
Thank you, Robert Downey Jr. He actually, RDJ actually really, like, as soon as he stepped into the role, he actually captured that essence of Iron Man and everything, and that I couldn't deny whatsoever, you know? Like, to me, like, every time he says, I am Iron Man, no doubt. No doubt. Like, he's actually excellent. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I couldn't have seen anybody else play Iron Man.
No, definitely not. Like, I think it would be very difficult to fill that role if they ever decided to reboot it.
Stanley knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said Tom Cruise, but like no.
Stan Lee handpicked Wesley Snipes for Blade.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was a great casting choice.
Did you guys see the trailer for Wakanda Forever? I got the feels for that.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I've been kind of tuned out really before, I'll be honest with you.
Riri. All I can say is Riri.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Because I'm actually waiting to see what happens with Ironheart and everything more than anything else, you know? But, like, I also want to see, like, how they're actually going to change the story of Namor going into this.
So that was Namor that we saw in that trailer?
I think I have not seen the trailer yet.
Okay. Yeah. Because like the guy sat in the throne or something like that.
Yeah, he's more Mayan than anything, but there's a reason behind it, which I think was a good move by Marvel.
Yeah, they actually wanted to change the story around a little bit because they didn't want to make it too much like Aquaman, you know, even though Namor actually came first. So that's kind of like the reason, and they just wanted right.
Okay.
Primal, let me ask you a question. Speaking on that, what you just said about the fans and generation, it was on my list of things to ask. If the 1986 movie came out, let's say 2000, do you think it would have had the same collapse as it did to help end the franchise today?
No, because I think that there was especially now and nowadays, the fandoms have become so massive, and you know, and almost to a commercial level. I don't think it would have had this. I think the impact would have been. I think the impact would have not been the same. But I think that the time period that it came out was so different. You know, back in the 80s, you know, Transformers was a kid's cartoon. Transformers was a kid's comic book, a kid's toy line. You know, now it's this massive franchise. And you know, all of these things are massive franchises. You know, when
now keep in mind, remember the 86 movie was ripped out of theaters because Prime died so badly that G.I. Joe couldn't be dropped.
Correct.
That was the reasoning why. Well, not only that, it's they chose to do that with G.I. Joe for two reasons. Because they chose to do Transformers first. I think also because they needed to finish the animation.
To test it out.
No, they needed to finish the animation. I think that G.I. Joe was supposed to come out first, but they were still working on the animation, I think. There were still things that they had to finish. But the other reasoning was because they needed to test out to see if the movie would have done successful. If Transformers was successful, G.I. Joe would have been released theatrically, and G.I. Joe would have still killed Duke. But
interesting.
But because Transformers was not a success, financially, and the reason why, and there was a reason why the movie was not as successful as it should have been. Twofold. Number one, back then there was no 10-plex theaters. There was, but not as many. When we were kids, do you remember going to a movie theater where there's only 2 screens?
Yeah.
There were a lot of movie theaters back then that only had 2 screens. And so 4 movies had to play during the weekend. So
I was actually kind of spoiled because I actually had a multiplex first growing up and everything. So
and look at the movies that came out in 1986.
Yeah.
There were a lot of bangers, and I mean big, giant franchise-making movies in 1986. Top Gun.
Oh yeah.
You know, came out. I think Karate Kid Part 2. I think came out in '86.
Yeah.
Well, Orion Films roamed the earth back in the '80s. Like
Orion
RoboCop,
Films?
that stuff like that.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right.
You know,
RoboCop was my favorite back then too.
Right. So they had to during the nighttime, during the prime time hours, they had to. That's when the rated R flicks and PG-13 flicks were on.
Right.
Like after 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you know, that's when adults went to the movies to go watch their rated R flicks. And so that's the reason why. That's half the reason. Because I don't know about you, when you went to the movies and when you saw did you guys see Transformers the movie theatrically?
Not when I was little, no. When it was re-released, 3 years from, hell yeah, I went, because that was what I've always wanted. I mean, I was like, it came out in '86. I was only 3 years old when it came out in '86.
Okay,
cool. And my parents were like,
yeah, you were prime time. Yeah. You were prime time for it. Like, and I saw it theatrically too.
And if it wasn't for the bombshell that it, developed, we wouldn't have a cult following today because of the failure of it. Because, movies that are successful, you're not going to remember it. You're going to remember the ones that failed because they start developing cult followings. I mean, you have, I'm not sure if you guys remember Return of Oz. I think that bombed, but because everybody loved the gritty thing of the 80s, because 80s, you could do whatever you want. And we would just be traumatized. But then again, at the same time, we're not so, thing about the guts and gore of animation now. We're in awe of it because we grew up, watching stuff like that. Yeah. Whereas kids today, they're so like, yeah, they're pansies. I'm sorry. So if they were to redo or remake by adding the deleted scenes and the storyboards of Transformers, the movie now, and made it grittier, I would be even more in love of the 1986 movie if they added those scenes into the movie. And they can, because Disney did that for Pocahontas. In the 2005 DVD, I think, or something like that, you can actually play it the theatrical release, or where they added the song If I Never Knew You, fully animated instead of the storyboard that I saw years ago when they played it on TV. And it's like, okay, if Disney can do that, why can't they do it for Transformers the movie? They have.
I hear we play backwards.
Adding deleted scenes. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, and I think I've told you guys before. Like the scenes that I would love to see have happened in, that were cut from the finished film, whether they were animated or not, and would they make sense in the sequences that they're in. The only thing is you'd have to recut the audio in some places. They'd have to readjust the song The Touch is playing when Optimus is doing his heroic charge. So if they animated the sequence of Ultra Magnus rushing in, where would you put that? And how would you cut the touch to make that match the fight properly? You know what I mean? Like,
Vincent DeCool's still alive. He can add his own riff into that. Stan Bush is still alive.
Yeah, I've interviewed Stan Bush. That was surreal.
You could do instrumentals in between. It doesn't have to be, that whole singing part. Just add some instrumentals to kind of move the thing along and still have the song just as it is, like it was never touched.
Yeah, they did some mixes, they can readjust it, sure. But that's the thing. I'm saying those are the difficulties. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Oh, it's not difficulty. We have the technology for that.
Right.
I don't see it to be difficult at all.
Yeah.
I think that you'd actually have to put Dead Mouse in there somehow or something like that and have him remix it. Just a bit. Is it just me? I don't know.
I would love to see the sequence of I would love to see the cut line of Inferno and Blaster telling Ultra Magnus, good luck, Commander. And I would love to, hey, let's do the thing from Beta 4. I remember it well. And then Galvatron says, they did this to me when I was Megatron. I would love to see that sequence. Yeah. And then congratulations, Autobots, we've lost them. So rest while you can. Yeah, I remember the dust was so thick on Beta 4 that you had to use windshield wipers on your optic sensors. Like, that was an actual thing that they said in the movie, and that was actually a call, like the fact that they did that callback, which is another reason I would love to see a 5-part episode miniseries that takes place before the movie, maybe tell the story of Beta 4.
Is it just me, or does anybody else want Cup to go through Vietnam flashback Beta 4 stories?
I would love to have
No, because
more
like
stories.
that, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the episode Chaos was a great episode in G1 because it, Cup told his story. Like, you actually got to see what an Ick-Yak looked like,
Yes.
What?
And yeah.
Yes, we didn't know
I
that.
never saw that. No.
And wait, on that
I
the
wanna know
episode
what
K,
an
just
Ick-Yak
Chaos.
is like.
He had
Yeah,
a
an episode
flashback.
Chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a lot less
I don't know.
wrinkles, and it looked like a little dragon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really? I
Seriously?
don't remember that one.
And this
Oh my,
gigantic
where'd that have
Ick-Yak
noise?
came romping and stomping down the mountain. And I thought so Cup was telling that story in the movie, but then you actually got to see that played out in Chaos.
Oh, I want to ride a Ick-Yak.
It was a cartoony looking dragon, but it was a
Right.
dragon nonetheless.
Oh.
He's right. It did happen, though. It did happen.
Yep.
Although I'm gonna look this shit up right now.
So
Right.
when Prime had the gun, and just for the record, RP, your logic is flawless. I'm impressed with you, actually. Seriously. When Prime had the gun on Megatron and Rodimus was actually being held hostage, Megatron was shooting Prime. What color was that beam?
Oh, so it's
And you know what?
I could have sworn it was purple. I
thought it was purple myself, but
It was purple,
the Mandela
but if you
effect-
go back, but stop. But if you go back in the movie, on the point of impact, when they switched Prime's scene, the impact laser beams hitting him were orange.
right.
That was it. That's all I
Are you
need.
sure that's not like
But
fire
that's
burned
why-
out smoke coming out?
No, if you look at that, in fact, hold on,
if
let
you
me
watch
find
the
it.
sequence, if you watch the
They
sequence
say-
as it's happening,
Shooter could actually be a thing.
it could.
Shut up, Ty It's not RC.
You're
The
thinking
woman
that
made me do it.
RC. RC. So your logic is that RC is as villainous as Dreamwave was trying to make her out to be.
I'm just saying that Rodimus actually had a fire in his belly, right? And it was actually missing one thing: the Matrix, right? So Rodimus Prime
Nice,
actually
look.
had this whole thing.
You made me do
Everybody
this.
did it.
I love you. You made me do this. RC. Anyway, let me stop. What the hell?
Oh, good lord!
So
All hysterical and shit.
there's this whole three-way scheme that was actually happening, you see? I wish I actually had like a
Okay.
whole entire billboard in the back of me and everything so I could actually do that thing that they actually did in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And be like, look, I wanted to have a cigarette and
Oh,
everything
I
like this
see
so I
what
could
you're
actually
gonna
do the
do.
whole thing.
Did you get the setup done, though? Or I was kind of curious.
Hold
What
on,
was
the
original?
comic effect might be gone now.
I have the scene. I'm about to play because I gotta know. I'm like, you have to show me where this
Wait,
purple.
wait.
When
Okay.
Megatron starts firing on Prime,
Hold on.
fall.
He knows. He knows.
The color of the beam changes.
Norby was about to show something first before I share the screen.
Can you share that screen?
Okay. I'm a little scared now.
Because
Okay.
we are gonna piece together this whole crime, you know?
Okay.
You, who are without mercy, now plead for it? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. No, you don't, Megatron! Out of
Don't
the way,
blink, Knight.
fraud!
Watch Megatron's gun. Keep watching. Purple.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! No!
I fucked your world up.
Oh my god! Oh what? Oh
This
my
is why I
goodness!
actually say there's
Did
a
not
second
know.
shooter.
Oh what?
So-
Oh!
What you're seeing right now is quite like you're trying to make a grassy knoll.
Oh!
That's
Theory.
right. That's right. So
It
here we go,
really is. I
everybody.
have no. But oh shit! Hold on a second. But no, seriously, on matureness, I have no proof to back that up. It's just a.
Here we go, everybody. So this is what actually. This is the theory, right? So Megatron is actually down, right? And Optimus is right there, just about to shoot him and everything like that. Megatron's like, "Grant me mercy, I beg of you." And Optimus is like, "What? Listen, bitch. Let me tell you something. There's no mercy for you." Cup told Hot Rod to stay back. But did he? No. He was actually on his way running over here, but I have a theory. I have a theory that there's a second shooter just waiting in those woodworks. Just waiting to shoot. And remember, there were yellow lasers that were actually being fired over at Prime. We actually just saw confirmation just now. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Oh my. Oh.
But seriously, Nice. I think it was a color error. It's not enough for me to go on. But
yeah.
Oh,
wait.
See that before?
Yes, but it's no. I never paid attention. I was watching my childhood father figure die before my eyes. Of course, I'm not gonna pay attention to that. Oh my. Oh my goodness.
You could call it a coloring error, or you could call it maybe the laser beams are becoming more powerful because they were fired. You know, he was firing different range of blasts.
Or
my childhood.
Yeah.
Was there one laser, or were there three?
My childhood. Oh.
You know what?
and I I can't unsee this.
Let that marinate for a minute.
Oh my
You're
God!
looking at it from the color. Like I said, you're looking
I'm
at the
gonna go to my room. I'm gonna lock myself in my room and
remind to remind you that there are other animation errors in the movie too. Think about this.
Big time.
Yeah.
When Perceptor and Grapple are firing on the Decepticons, Trailbreaker is supposed to be running across the screen, but instead they animated Swoop running across the screen.
Right.
Oh.
To support your point though, Ironhide, the overall siege of the city when the Decepticons were on that flight, just
Ironhide colored reflector. Yeah, it was an Ironhide colored reflector.
Listen, mass shifting is a thing too. Okay, but let me
animation model. I know it was Reflector's animation model because I was trying to study it and trying to make sure that it wasn't just Ironhide. No,
circle in the back.
Yep,
right.
Circle in the back. Yep. So,
my God, nice.
I know that Sunstreaker
made me
was
so happy just now by putting
Blue
that out.
Streak and Huffer and Cup at the back, at Lookout Mountain, and then yet Sunstreaker is piloting the space shuttle with Optimus and the Dinobots.
Holy shit! I never knew that before.
Wait.
Wait.
Yeah.
Listen.
What happened?
Sunstreaker
He's
was
right.
helping Blue Streak and Huffer carry stuff as Cup was going a little to the left, a little bit more.
That's right.
Yeah, we know that.
Right. And then when Hot Rod was firing, you see them, all four of them are standing there. What's that Don Fool doing?
Yeah, we know that.
Right? Well,
I love your
Sunstreaker is there. Who was piloting the shuttle when Optimus Prime? Dinobots, destroy Devastator. Me, Grimlock, love, challenge. Sunstreaker was piloting the ship.
He's really fast.
I mean, how did Sunstreaker get from Earth?
I'm just saying,
my
he's fast.
theory has been since my Sunstreaker retrospective and I said it in my Sideswipe retrospective that is Tiger Track on Earth, and Sunstreaker was piloting the shuttle. So that's my theory, and I have nothing to back it up, but that's just my retcon.
At this time, I think I'm just gonna believe everything y'all say because after seeing what I just saw, I'm still.
Because you're looking at the color of the
Blue is
blast.
gray dye. Blue
Like, I
is
don't
gray.
think the color of the blast make a difference. Like,
You'd be surprised. That's 39 years of believing one thing, and then all of a sudden I just got woke. I got transformed woke.
I still say it could have been on Devil's Advocate. It could be dude. It was the '80s. Everybody had an animation error back then. I'll give Rodimus Prime that, but still though. Like, nah, he's still alive. Shoot him again anyway. We gotta drag this movie out.
There is a biomechanical. There is a
he's not quite
biomechanical
dead
grassy
yet.
knoll someplace.
he's mostly dead.
Yeah. What's that, Norb? What you say? What?
There is a biomechanical grassy knoll, and I want to know what was behind it.
Biomechanical grassy knoll. I'm done with y'all. So, I got Naisha here from Just an Average Girl. Check out her channel in the description below. And I got Diecast Norb, my boy Norbs, Galactic Hooligan. Do it. There it is.
Oh, we all gotta do it.
Again.
All right, one more time.
Go ahead.
Okay. Galactic Hooligan.
And then, you know what? Honestly, nice meeting this guy right now, Joe, aka Rodimus Primal. I'm gonna leave his description below, and each of you guys are gonna get a copy of this. And and shout out to Jason and Orion Pats. Check out their channels as well. Even though they're not here, I'm sure they had a reason. They would have loved this.
We're gonna get everybody on the horn next time because like this is fun.
Yes, it's
Told
awesome.
you. Yeah. Anything you guys want to shout out real quick? Any upcoming projects or what?
Excellent. I'm actually
I mean,
just
at
gonna
least-
let this one run straight through.
I know. I mean, at this time, I'm just like introducing the world of 3D printing and all that stuff. I got a gaming channel that I'm starting up again. I used to, but
There
yeah,
you go.
I'm back up and running. I'm excited for it, and I look forward to whatever you guys are going to be throwing out soon.
Yo, Joe, anything?
I've got a slew of scripts that I'm working on for more Transformers retrospectives and discussion videos. I'm always working on more scripts. Like I'm always constantly working on stuff, to try to bring more stuff to the table. I have a news video. I have like San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend, so I'm trying to cover all that Transformers news. Like the new Transformers Earthspark cartoon is coming out.
I'm actually into it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer to it. I'm digging it. So
Yeah.
I think it feels like it doesn't like I almost feel like I'm too old for it in a
But
way the way that it's presented. Not that I hate it.
Yeah.
In other words, what I'm saying, like it's kind of like how Cyberverse, like
Right.
like I know that I'm too old for Cyberverse, but I liked Cyberverse. That's kind of how
I'll
I
tell
feel
you.
about it.
No,
I
no,
like
you're not
the
wrong. That's how I
character
feel about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I love the character design so far. The kids, are they going to be the most useful kids we've ever seen in any Transformers show? Like, I don't know.
That was the thing that kind of got me, which kind of felt like a modern day Transformers Armada.
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They went into a
Like
cave.
like a reboot without the reboot, right?
Yeah, they rebooted
Right.
Transformers Armada and they've called it Earthspark.
I was actually thinking Transformers Prime because, like, I don't know exactly if they're going to go like the dark, gritty route or anything like that.
It
But
doesn't feel like it.
Yeah?
Feel like it.
okay,
I think what we're getting is a modern, like they're the new villain, the human villain they brought in, kind of looks like it's almost like a modern day Dr. Arkeville.
okay,
That he's mechanical, but he actually has his own thing. I like Megatron's look.
yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
I do kind of like the fact that they've given him an alt mode that can work for the 21st century and yet still look like Megatron.
Yeah, see, some
It should-
adaptations are neat. Like
Okay. Yeah. Adaptation. And the thing is, I like callbacks to the originals, but sometimes if you're going to update something, have it make sense. And this
Right.
makes sense. This makes sense. Megatron looks like Megatron. Optimus looks like Optimus, except for his.
Yeah, his face is kind of long.
Kind of
Yeah.
looks like they gave him. Did you see the picture of Weird Al Yankovic?
Yes.
No,
Oh my god,
that was nice homage. I did.
that was someone. I was like, oh my gosh, because like I'm thinking that the Ladybird books with Optimus with like smiling and going like.
no. Hey Joe, you're the right person to ask then. What the hell did happen to Dr. Arkeville? Because the last time I remember, his body was completely messed up. He said Starscream
Could not
died
move.
and died. Yeah, he said Starscream died and died. He knew Megatron was still breathing. Clever
If we're
plan.
just going by the cartoon, I'm gonna assume that we're just kind of like left to believe that he probably died on Cybertron. But
I don't think he died. I think he's actually a
no,
full
hold
robot
on.
now.
If we're just to follow the cartoon, but if we're following like extra material and stuff like that, he apparently came back to Earth, and then he actually built his own Nemesis Prime. And so my headcanon of Nemesis Prime, going by what the universes of storytelling has done to merge that in, would be that he went and found a Prime Problems Optimus, that the full copy, and rebuilt that into a Nemesis Prime.
What
That
if
would
he was
make
Nemesis
story.
Prime?
Huh?
What if he was Nemesis Prime? Like, what if he actually like put
what
his
if he
brain
like
in
in
the
other words he took on the persona, like what if he actually like turned himself full mechanical like Silas did in
right, yeah.
Like that would make a lot of sense. That would be very cool.
We should all get together and write a story.
That would be a whole storyline that can actually happen.
All right,
yeah,
well,
we can go on and on and on for ages.
It's true. Say bye, everybody.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Until next time, till all are one.